Morning guys, long time no video. It's Mother's Day, May 12th, and I'm gonna head over to the shop. I'm just sitting here letting the truck warm up. Yeah, 43 degrees. It was actually 35 earlier this morning. Can't believe it. We were in the 80s and high 80s last week, a couple days, and then some 70s, and now we're back down to the cooler temps here for sure. So that'll slow the old grass down a little bit, but I'm gonna take you guys to the shop with me and show you, for those of you who are getting your lawnmowers ready and things like that for mowing season. I'm gonna show you how I sharpen a mulching style blade. I've got a set of blades with me in the bed of the truck here for my brother-in-law's Craftsman riding lawnmower, and they're a mulching style blade, which means they're kind of wavy. They're not just a straight cut, and we're gonna go ahead and turn those into razor blades for him, and we'll show you how we do it. So spent the day yesterday getting the old Super Duty cleaned up inside. Shampooed the carpets with some shampoo in a can type deal, you know, the kind you scrub in with a brush and vacuum. And I got the old dash all cleaned up here. You know, we're looking pretty good. And I like this stuff, but God forbid do not use this in an area where you paint. This is a silicone base, but it's a good type spray for like your plastic, like this, and in your vents. When they start to get sort of chalky from condensation and just wear over the years. You know, this truck's an 02. This stuff works really good. You just got to watch out. It's not safe for Lexan or polycarbonate. Some polycarbonates, that is, but mostly you don't want to get it on things like your display on your radio, the clear plastics for sure. That and your over your gauge cluster, the clear Lexan that protects that. But pretty much anything else. A lot of these door panels get real light in this area from sun, UV degradation and things like that. Same thing with these, from resting your hand on them. The oil's in your hands, kind of the oil in the actual plastic gets dried up, and that rejuvenates it for a good amount of time. Carlots used to really like that foo-foo stuff, but again, I don't use it in the paint shop where I work, even though it's my lawnmower shop slash oil change place slash work on your truck place. You know, not a dedicated body work and paint work area for sure, but it is for me. So I tend not to use that kind of stuff at the shop. I did it in the home garage and get this truck all cleaned up. So she's looking pretty good inside here. Got some leather protection on the old seats. These seats don't have any major cracks or holes in them, and they're 2002 model year. So yeah, having trouble holding on to the camera here. My hands are a little slick from cleaning up the steering wheel with some leather cleaner here. Get all the old dirty fingerprints off of it and all that stuff. So we're gonna head over there, and I'll maybe chat for a few minutes here on the ride, but we'll not make this one too long, just so I can clip the how-to on the end of this one and all that. So the grass is growing like mad around here, and I really need to mow it, but it rained a lot yesterday, and I've got 3 acres of property here that gets cut, actual grass area. I have 5, but 2 of it happens to be a lake, and some of it's, you know, a little bit wooded. So I got pretty close to 3 acres to cut here, and I don't do it when it's wet. It's just one of those things I have the luxury of waiting to do. I'll let it grow and get too long before I cut it wet. It just makes a mess. So that's what's on the agenda for today. Hope everybody's remember to get their Mother's Day cards and all that stuff, or call mom and wish her happy Mother's Day if you have a mom. And for those of you you know, whose mothers are no longer with us, you know, hope they're in your thoughts today and all that stuff. So we're gonna get rolling here and head on down to the shop. I like to talked a little bit about the extravaganza. Had a real good time at that, and like to thank everybody who made it to that. That was real cool getting to meet all you guys. And like a couple other people have said, you know, pretty much everybody that was there was exactly who I thought they'd be. You know, even though we've talked back and forth through comments on videos and maybe on the Mumble and things like that, sometimes it's hard to know who somebody is until you see a face and shake a hand and get to chat with them a little bit in person, and, you know, maybe talk about some things that aren't necessarily car related. So that was real cool to be able to do that. Sort of a shame that the weather wasn't 100%, but you know, a good group of people will make the best of anything, and I think we did. We had some good friends and good food, and, you know, you sprinkle a little alcohol in that equation, and everybody has a good time. So I like that kind. No drama. You know, you put 100 people together in the same area, you're bound to have some, and we had zero drama, which is very cool. So it took me about 2/3 of the week to recover from a 3-day weekend, even though I didn't overindulge, just the jet lag and things like that. I'm not a big traveler. Especially in the time of the season where I'm really busy with work. It's just, it's real hard for me. Usually takes me 2 or 3 days to get myself back in order, but unfortunately for me, this is such a busy time, I didn't really have a chance to figure out whether I was tired or exhausted or, you know, unable to work. I just hit it when I got back, and we're back in the swing of things, and gonna try and go get the boat out of storage and some stuff like that. Got to get that ready here in the next couple weeks. I'd like to have it ready for Memorial Day, and don't have a whole lot to do to that. Just you know, a cleanup, and I think I'm gonna put a through hull transducer in for a depth sounder, so that'll entail drilling a hole and all that in the bottom of the hull of the boat, and running some wires and all that good stuff. So that's basically it on that front. Not a whole lot else going on, just been real wrapped up with work and estimates, designs, things like that, which are sort of typical for this time of the year for me. And I don't mind the extra work and all that. I don't like to carry it through to the weekend, but it's still sort of a holiday weekend, you know, recovering from last weekend, and then of course it's Mother's Day and all that, so we're gonna go ahead and do that, and have a nice dinner this evening, and do all that kind of stuff. I apologize for the shaky cam, but if I don't hold this camera in my hand close to my face, you get all the terrible feedback. So I'll probably cut it loose right here, and we'll turn you back on when we get to the shop, and we'll get those blades sharpened up. So stand by. Alright, we're getting ready to sharpen this set of blades here, and I've got the camera zoomed in pretty good here, but you can see it curves. It's not just a straight shot. So I use a couple different things for these style, either an angle sander like that, like a body sander, grinder, whatever you want to call it, or a little 4-inch angle grinder. The big sander has a 24 grit disc on it, and I think that's got a 36. It's just whatever's on it, and that's plenty aggressive to cut that. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to try and follow that contour. Hopefully this won't block the view of the camera, but I want to have a little more than the edge that's on there right now. That's probably a little over 1/4 of an inch wide, and I like it to be a little wider, so the slope's a little less. And then when we're done, I'll take a file and I'll blunt this edge off just a little bit, so if you hit something, it doesn't peen that thin metal down, and then it won't cut. like that. And back the zoom out here, see if this thing will stay focused. But that's super sharp. Another thing you want to watch out for is if you've got any nicks in this surface, which these are in nice shape. The yard that gets cut really doesn't have a bunch of trees and things you can hit, so they stay pretty nick free. What you'll need to do is take the grinder flat over it this way and take any of those gouges out. Another thing that's sort of important is that this edge of the blade here is square, 90 degrees. If it's rounded off, the grass getting cut on the outside of this blade will actually just get laid over. It won't cut. I believe these blades are an interference type pattern, whereas the blades will actually overlap in their path. So they're timed. They have these little notches in them right here. I could be wrong. A lot of mulching mowers are set up that way so that they're always bypassing one another. And truthfully, the only area of this blade that really cuts, as far as being able to pick up the grass and make the cut on it, is probably this first 3 inches of the blade. This is set up to catch the grass as it comes up into the deck after it's been cut, and to mulch it up. That's the mulching part of the blade. I'm not a big fan of this setup, but it tends to work. You know, it's just in a commercial setup, we use blades that are basically a straight blade like this. You know, there's 2 blades stacked on one another here, but these are for the grasshopper, and again, there's only about 6 inches of blade surface. The ones for the skag actually have a longer cutting surface on them. There's probably 8 inches or 10 inches of blade surface there that gets sharpened. And you can see what I mean about having the corners messed up. You got to square those off to make them work right. So I'm going to get a file and I'm going to dress that top edge to sort of make it a little more blunt. So that if we do hit something with it, or something gets hit, it won't be able to not eat it over. And I don't know if you guys can see this. This is just an 8-inch mill file. This is not a bastard cut file, just a straight mill file, and what I'll do is I'll may have to work on that a little bit more. I got that paper thin, and when I started to take it off, it rolled it right over. So we're going to take a smaller grinder and try dressing this up. You can also do these with just a file. It works just as well. I'm just taking the file on the back of it real quick to knock that sharp kind of burr off of there, you know. I think those are going to be just fine for the situation. That's probably the hardest part of sharpening one of these, is this hump right here, because the metal tends to be thinner all around. but that'll be plenty sharp to make this job do what it's supposed to. We'll go ahead and we'll hit the other side real quick. This almost looks like a brand new blade. Corner's got a little tweak on it. You can see where it was bent down just a little bit, so I hit the back side of it to knock that off of there. I could probably work on that a little bit more. It's not quite where I want it to be. I thought I was there. Another thing to remember is that the grinder rotates clockwise, and you want that edge cutting down into the blade, just like when you're sharpening a pocket knife. If it goes the other way, all it'll do is drag burrs up the other direction. This way it breaks the burr off for the most part as you're sharpening. like it. You can always take a file and just file these. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. But the hard part is getting that contour with a file. And again, blunting the edge just a little bit to make that edge square, to keep from when it strikes, you know, a stick or something harder than this blade. These blades are paper thin, being the style blade that they are. You know, you might be able to see. Yeah, camera doesn't want to focus. This isn't a real wide blade. If you look at the mulching section of this blade right here, there's really not a whole lot that's sharpened on it. Usually it ends up just beating your grass into submission. So I'll finish this one up and give you kind of a finished shot here, but I think you get the idea. Alright, that's pretty much long and short of it, but I'm trying to make, let's zoom it back out, just like on the first one, I'm trying to make this distance, the shiny distance, you know, from my finger up a little bit wider so there's a little bit more wear pattern on them. So I'll bring you back when these are all done and give you a finished profile shot of what those are going to look like. So stay tuned. Alright, well here's kind of the finished product. You see the process. This is your main area that's going to cut on this blade. The rest of this just chops up the grass as it gets sucked up farther into the deck after it's been cut. So this is your important part to have, you know, nice and sharp and square. The rest of this, it's important but not as important as that end. So that's kind of how I sharpen them. There's probably other ways. I do have an actual dedicated blade sharpener that I've had for 20 years, and I quit using it probably 10 years ago because it's a pain in the ass. I don't know if you guys can see that down there, but it's got a big 1/2 horsepower or 1/3 horsepower motor on it and a grinder wheel and a little table, and you can adjust the direction of the travel of the wheel with that little switch down there. Sorry, the picture's kind of crappy, but I'm not digging it out off the floor. That's an oldie. It works. It gets to be a real pain in the ass. The more messed up the blades get from hitting gravel or big sticks or things like that that people run into here and there. So that's how I sharpen those blades up, and I'm going to cut it loose because this is going to be a 20-minute video. So hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. Don't forget about the mumble tonight.